This isn't your typical self-improvement story. We're diving deep into a tale of twisted philanthropy, forbidden attraction, and a shocking betrayal that proves the most dangerous secrets are often hidden in plain sight. Here are the 10 explosive topics that unravel the mystery of the heiress's secret. Topic 1. The charitable front. The air in the grand ballroom of the Vance Plaza Hotel was thick with the scent of expensive perfume and unspoken ambition. Crystal chandeliers cast a dazzling light over the city's elite, all gathered to bask in the reflected glory of Eleanor Vance 60s, impeccably dressed, with a smile that doesn't quite reach her ice blue eyes. At the podium, she is the picture of elegant compassion, her voice a warm, measured instrument that commands silence. Eleanor. To the rapt audience. For too long, families facing the most unthinkable tragedies have faced them alone. A sick child. A crushing debt from experimental treatment. A loss that leaves them in the dark. No more. Tonight, the Vance Foundation is proud to announce the Second Chance Initiative. A sleek promotional video plays on massive screens behind her. It features soft focus shots of grateful, diverse families, interspersed with renderings of a state-of-the-art medical wing. The logo, a stylized phoenix rising, shimmers with promise. Eleanor. Conted. This is not just a donation. This is a covenant. A promise that no family will be broken by circumstance again. We will find them. We will fund their treatments. We will give them a second chance. The applause is thunderous. Cameras flash. From the front row, her daughter, Chloe Vance 20s, beautiful but bored, swirling champagne in her glass like it's a prison sentence, offers a slow, sarcastic clap that is lost in the roar. She watches her mother drink in the adulation, her own expression a mask of cynical detachment. Eleanor gestures to her right, where a handsome, silver-haired man stands beaming. Eleanor. Conted. None of this would be possible without the diligent work and big heart of our head of finance, my most trusted advisor. Arthur Finch. Arthur Finch 50s, kind eyes behind spectacles, a nervous energy he tries to hide, steps forward, waving awkwardly. He seems genuinely moved, but there's a tension in his shoulders, a slight sheen of sweat on his brow that the bright lights exaggerate. He looks at Eleanor not just with professional respect, but with something akin to fear. As the crowd surges forward to congratulate Eleanor, she grasps Arthur's arm, her grip deceptively strong. The dazzling public smile remains, but her words, whispered only for him, are pure ice. Eleanor. Whispering to Arthur. The initial donor list, Arthur. I want it finalized tonight. No mistakes. We can't help everyone, after all. Only the ones that matter. Arthur's smile freezes. He nods once, sharply, his eyes darting away. He is a man who knows the price of his seat at this luxurious table, and the bill is coming due. The scene ends on a wide shot of the glittering event, a perfect facade of generosity, while two of its key players are already cracking under the weight of its terrible, hidden truth. Topic 2. The ghost from the past. The manicured perfection of the Vance estate the next morning is a stark contrast to the previous night's glitter. The air is crisp, smelling of freshly cut grass and old money. Sunlight glints off the immaculate windows of the mansion, a palace of pristine order. And then he arrives. A beat-up, dusty pickup truck, a jarring anomaly, rumbles to a stop just outside the wrought iron gates. The driver's door creaks open and Caleb 30s, rugged, with eyes that have seen too much and a quiet intensity that seems to vibrate the air around him, steps out. He is dressed in worn jeans and a simple t-shirt, the muscles in his arms cord from real labor. He doesn't look at the mansion with awe or envy. His gaze is analytical, cold, like a predator surveying the territory of its prey. He's there to answer an ad for a groundskeeper, a cover story so thin it's almost an insult. The foreman, a brusque man named Joe, looks him up and down with skepticism. Joe. Experience. Caleb. His voice is a low gravelly rumble. I know how things grow. And I know how to cut them down. He gets the job. His task for the day, pruning the endless rows of roses that border the main drive. It's mindless, subservient work. But Caleb approaches it with a frightening, silent precision. Each snap of the shears is clean, decisive. From an upstairs window, Chloe Vance watches him. She's sipping bitter black coffee, having slept through her mother's triumphant breakfast interview. Her artist's eye is immediately caught. Not by his looks, but by his contradiction. He moves with a contained grace that speaks of training, of control, completely at odds with his menial job. He doesn't hunch his shoulders, he owns the ground he stands on. Her gaze is interrupted by the approach of her mother's sleek town car. Eleanor Vance emerges, already on her phone, orchestrating her empire. She doesn't even see Caleb as he steps back from the path, head respectfully bowed. But the moment her back is turned, his head lifts. His eyes, sharp and devoid of any subservience, track her every step to the front door, memorizing her rhythm, her aura of untouchable power. Later, Chloe accidentally drops her sketchbook near where he's working. He stops, picks it up. His hands are calloused, dirt under his nails. He doesn't hand it back immediately. He looks at the open page, a dark, intricate drawing of a phoenix, but its wings were torn and its eyes were sad. Caleb. Yours. Chloe. Sometimes. Caleb. Handing it back, his fingers brushing hers. A spark of something dangerous passes between them. It's angry. He turns back to his work, leaving her staring after him, utterly intrigued. He wasn't just watching the estate. He was studying it. And in one word, he'd seen the anger she'd spent a lifetime trying to hide from her mother. The ghost wasn't just in their past, he was now in their garden, and he had already begun to unearth their secrets. Topic 3, The Forbidden Attraction. The Vance Library is a museum of success. Floor-to-ceiling shelves hold leather-bound books that have never been read, interspersed with tasteful awards and photos of Eleanor shaking hands with presidents. The air smells of lemon polish and restraint. Chloe Vance is here under duress, forced to review architectural plans for the new Second Chance Wing, a task her mother calls taking an interest in your legacy. She can't concentrate. Her mind keeps drifting to the window, to the figure methodically working in the afternoon sun. Driven by a rebellion she doesn't fully understand, she takes a pitcher of iced tea out to the patio. She pours a glass, the ice clinking a nervous rhythm. She doesn't call out. She simply waits until Caleb feels her presence and looks up, his expression unreadable. Chloe. You look thirsty. Caleb wipes sweat from his brow with the back of his arm, doesn't move closer. It's a thirsty kind of job. There's a challenge in his stillness. He's making her come to him. She crosses the lush lawn, feeling the grass through her thin sandals. The distance between the manicured patio and the raw earth where he stands feels immense. Chloe. Caleb, right. He nods, taking the glass. Their fingers brush. The contact is electric, jarring. You're new. Caleb. Is that a question? Chloe. Smiling faintly, A real smile she doesn't use in the library. An observation. You don't fit. He takes a long drink of the tea, his eyes never leaving hers. He is assessing her, and she realizes she desperately wants to pass whatever test this is. Caleb. And you do fit in this. He gestures vaguely at the sprawling mansion. This museum. It's the opening of a door. Chloe's polished defiance cracks, just for a second. She looks back at the house, a beautiful prison. Chloe. Her voice drops, confidential. Sometimes I think I'm the most misplaced thing here. His intense gaze softens, almost imperceptibly. He sees it, the genuine soul screaming inside the gilded cage. He takes a step closer. The scent of him, clean sweat, sun-warmed skin, earth, is a shocking, intoxicating contrast to the sterile air of her world. Caleb. Maybe it's not about fitting in. Maybe it's about breaking out. The rumble of an approaching car breaks the spell. Eleanor's town car. Caleb's posture instantly shifts. The moment of vulnerability is gone, replaced by the respectful, withdrawn groundskeeper. He hands her the empty glass. Caleb. Quietly, for her ears only. You should go back inside, Miss Vance. Your world's about to demand you back. He turns his back to her, his focus returned entirely to the soil. Chloe stands frozen for a second, the cold glass in her hand, his words echoing in her head. He saw her. He saw her. And for the first time, someone didn't tell her to behave. They told her to break out. The attraction isn't just physical. It's a recognition. He is the darkness, the raw, unpolished truth she has been craving, and he's just planted himself right in the middle of her mother-perfectly curated world. Topic 4, The First Crack. The Vance corporate offices are a temple of glass, steel, and silent efficiency. The hum of the central air is the only sound, a constant, sterile whisper. It's late. The sun has set, and the city lights glitter far below like a bed of distant diamonds. Chloe Vance is there, a reluctant participant in a donor gala planning meeting that has run too long. She excuses herself, claiming a headache, and wanders the empty, overly lit hallways, her heels clicking a lonely rhythm on the polished marble. She finds herself outside the office of Arthur Finch. The door is slightly ajar. Pushing it open, she expects to find him buried in spreadsheets. Instead, the office is dark, lit only by the glow of his computer monitor. The room is in disarray, a stark contrast to Arthur's usual fastidiousness. Files are strewn across his desk, and his chair is overturned. Chloe. Whispering. Arthur. Her blood runs cold. Arthur Finch is on the floor, slumped against the wall beneath a framed picture of him and Eleanor cutting a ribbon. His eyes are open, staring at nothing. An empty prescription pill bottle lies on the carpet near his lifeless hand. A classic, tragic tableau of a man overwhelmed by the pressure. A beat of horrified silence. Then, Chloe's eyes, adjusting to the dim light, catch a glimpse of his desk. His ledger is open. Next to it, a single, torn piece of notepaper, as if ripped from a pad in a moment of frantic haste. Her breath hitches. This is wrong. Arthur was nervous, yes. But suicidal. He'd just been given the project of a lifetime. He spoke of his daughter's college tuition just yesterday with bright-eyed hope. Driven by a gut-deep instinct, she steps closer, avoiding looking at his face. Her heart hammers against her ribs. On the torn paper, in Arthur's precise, neat handwriting, are two words that mean nothing and everything. Project Chimera, Payment 1. Beneath it, a string of numbers that looks like an account number, hastily scribbled and underlined twice. The sound of the elevator chiming down the hall jolts her into action. Panic seizes her. Without thinking, she snatches the piece of paper, crumpling it in her fist, and slips out of the office just as the security guard's footsteps round the corner. She leans against the cold wall outside, her body trembling. She can hear the guard's startled gasp, the frantic call on his radio. Code Blue. Office 42. I think Mr. Finch is dead. Chloe looks down at the paper clenched in her white-knuckled hand. It's no longer just a suicide. It's a message, a secret. And the first crack in her mother's perfect, pristine world has just splintered open, revealing a darkness she was never meant to see. Topic 5, The Unlikely Alliance. The rain starts just after midnight, a cold, relentless downpour that sheets against the windows of the Vance mansion, blurring the world into streaks of light and shadow. Inside, Chloe Vance is pacing her art studio, a chaotic sanctuary of half-finished canvases and charcoal-smudged sketches. The crumpled note from Arthur's office feels like it's burning a hole in the pocket of her silk robe. Project Chimera. Payment 1. The official call came an hour ago. A somber family lawyer, speaking on behalf of her devastated mother, confirmed it, a terrible tragedy, the pressure, we must all be strong. The words felt rehearsed, hollow. She couldn't stop seeing Arthur's kind, nervous eyes. He wouldn't. Her gaze is drawn to the window. Through the torrential rain, she can see a lone light in the garden shed. Caleb. He is still there. Working late, hiding the thought is impulsive, reckless, and utterly necessary. She doesn't bother with an umbrella. She pulls on a hoodie and runs through the downpour, the water soaking through her clothes in an instant. She doesn't knock, just shoves the shed door open and stumbles inside. The shed is warm, smelling of damp earth, gasoline, and cut wood. Caleb is sharpening a set of pruning sheaths, the blade scraping against a whetstone in a rhythmic, dangerous whisper. He looks up, not surprised to see her, but his eyes narrow at her state, hair plastered to her face, breathing ragged, eyes wide with panic and grief. Caleb. You're going to catch your death out there, Miss Vance. She doesn't speak. She just holds out her trembling hand, unfolding the crumpled, damp piece of paper. She places it on the workbench next to the sharpening stone. Chloe. Voice shaking. He didn't do it? Arthur didn't kill himself? Caleb puts the blade down. He picks up the note. His large, calloused fingers are careful, almost reverent. He reads the two words. His jaw tightens. A muscle ticks in his cheek. The casual groundskeeper persona evaporates, replaced by a frightening, focused intensity. Caleb. Where did you get this? Chloe. His office. Tonight. Before they found him. She swallows hard, a sob catching in her throat. My mother, her charity, it's connected to this. I know it is. Caleb looks from the note to her face, his dark eyes searching hers. He sees her genuine terror, her desperate need for an ally. He makes a decision. Caleb. His voice drops to a low, urgent rumble. His name was Arthur Finch. But to me, he was Artie. My brother. The revelation hits Chloe like a physical blow. She staggers back a step. Chloe. Your brother. Caleb. Nods, his eyes glistening with the raw, painful anger he doesn't try to hide anymore. He called me 3 days ago. Said he'd found something rotten in this foundation of yours. Said he was scared. The last thing he said was if anything happens to me, it's not an accident. He picks up the note again, his fist closing around it. They made it look like a suicide. But they murdered him. He looks at her, a direct, brutal challenge. Caleb. Can't D. So I came here to find out why. Now you're telling me you want to help me dig up the dirt on your own mother. The air crackles between them. The attraction is still there, but now it's fused with a shared, dangerous purpose. They are no longer just a rebellious heiress and a mysterious groundskeeper. They are co-conspirators standing over a grave. Chloe. Her voice is steadier now, filled with a cold certainty. I want the truth. I don't care where it leads. A slow, grim nod from Caleb. The alliance is forged. Not in a ballroom, but in a dusty shed, sealed by rain, a dead man's note, and a vow for vengeance. Topic 6, The Stolen File. The mansion is a tomb. Eleanor Vance is at a late-night emergency board meeting, orchestrating the public narrative of Arthur Finch's tragic demise. Her absence is a narrow window, and Chloe and Caleb are moving through it. They don't speak. They communicate in glances and gestures, their movements synchronized by a shared, pounding adrenaline. Chloe leads Caleb through the back corridors, avoiding the motion sensors she disabled as a teenager to sneak out. The opulent silence of the house is oppressive, every creak of the floorboard a thunderclap. They slip into Eleanor's study. It's a cold, imposing room. A massive mahogany desk, walls lined with books, and a large, imposing portrait of Eleanor herself, her painted eyes seeming to track their every move. Caleb. Whispering, his eyes scanning the room. Where would she hide it? Chloe. Somewhere she can see it. Somewhere that makes her feel powerful. Chloe's eyes land on the portrait. Her mother's vanity, her need for control. She runs her fingers along the gilded frame. On the side, hidden from casual view, is a nearly invisible seam. A pressure click. With a soft, hydraulic hiss, the entire portrait swings forward, revealing a modern, digital keypad set into the wall safe behind it. Chloe. A bitter, triumphant whisper. Of course. Caleb steps forward, but it's Chloe who inputs the code. Her hands are steady now. She remembers the date, the launch of her mother's first major business. The day her father vanished from their lives. The day Eleanor's true reign began. Beep. The safe unlocks. There are no stacks of cash, no jewels. Only neat, labeled files. Caleb's hands are trembling with a raw, hungry anticipation as he reaches in. He pulls out a thick, unmarked file tied with a red ribbon. This is it. The truth about Arthur. They sink to the floor behind the massive desk, hidden from the door, the portrait still swung open like a gaping mouth. Caleb fumbles with the ribbon, his breath catching, but the contents are not about a dead accountant. The first page is a cold, clinical medical report. A child's chart. A photo paper clipped to the corner shows a little boy with a bright, trusting smile. The name field reads, Subject C. The diagnosis is a complex, rare genetic disorder. The listed treatments are experimental, bordering on barbaric. The final entry, stamped 25 years ago, is a single, stark word, deceased. Beneath it are other files. Subject A, Subject B. More children. More photos of smiling, innocent faces. More final entries that read deceased. Caleb makes a sound, a low, wounded animal groan. He drops the file as if it's poisoned. This isn't about his brother's murder. This is something else. Something older, and infinitely more vile. Caleb. Voice broken with confusion and horror. What is this, children? What did she do to these children? Chloe is frantically shuffling through the other pages. Consent forms with shaky signatures from desperate parents. Financial documents from a defunct shell company called Chimera Therapeutics. It's not a ledger entry. It's a gravesite. The pieces slam together in her mind. The Second Chance Charity. The search for families with sick children. It wasn't to help them. It was a targeted, systematic search for the families her mother had already destroyed a generation ago. Chloe. Her voice is a ghost of a sound, filled with a dawning, absolute horror. She's not helping them. She's making sure they never talk. They aren't holding evidence of a murder. They are holding the reason for it. And the monster they're uncovering is far bigger than they ever imagined. The safe is a Pandora's box, and they have just flung it wide open. Topic 7, The Blood Connection. The study is deathly quiet, the only sound their ragged breathing. The innocent faces of the dead children stare up from the cold, clinical files scattered on the Persian rug. Caleb is ashen, his hands shaking not with anger now, but with a profound, soul-shattering disorientation. This wasn't the financial corruption or blackmail he was prepared to find. Caleb. Voice hollow, lost. This doesn't make sense. Artie was an accountant. Why would he die over this? He looks at Chloe, his eyes pleading for an answer she doesn't have. He's adrift, the mission he built his entire being around for weeks suddenly vaporized. He begins gathering the papers, his movements mechanical, defeated. It's a dead end. A horrible, tragic dead end. As he shuffles the file for Subject C back into the folder, a small, faded photograph, tucked into the inner sleeve and forgotten for decades, flutters out onto the floor. Chloe reaches for it. It's a Polaroid, the colors bleached by time. It shows two children, arms slung around each other's shoulders, grinning goofily in the sunshine. One is the little boy from the file, Subject C. The other is a younger boy, with a familiar glint of stubborn intensity in his eyes and the same dark hair. Her heart stops. She looks from the photo to Caleb's face, now etched with confusion and grief. The resemblance is unmistakable. The younger boy in the photo is him. Chloe. Whispering, her blood running cold. Caleb. He looks up, irritated by her tone. What? She doesn't speak. She just holds out the photograph, her hand trembling violently. He takes it. His eyes scan it, not understanding at first. Then his breath hitches. The world tilts on its axis. His knees seem to buckle, and he stumbles back against the desk, gripping the edge for support. All the color drains from his face. Caleb. A broken, disbelieving whisper. No. That's not possible. He stares at the face of the little boy, his best friend. Memories, long buried and protected, flood him, summer days, a treehouse, a secret handshake. A little boy who got sick. Who went away to a special hospital. Who never came back. Caleb. Conted, his voice cracking with the weight of the memory. Gabriel. His name was Gabriel. His eyes, wide with a pain so acute it's physical, snap up to meet Chloe's. The truth explodes between them, devastating and absolute. Kaylee. His voice rises, raw with a grief 25 years delayed. This project Chimera, it wasn't a business project. It was a medical trial. My brother, my real brother. Gabriel, he was one of her guinea pigs. She killed him. The shocking reveal isn't just about a crime. It's an identity theft of the most brutal kind. Arthur Finch wasn't his blood. He was a compassionate man who helped a grieving boy years ago, a boy who had latched onto him as the only family he had left. Caleb came to avenge the death of the man who took him in, only to discover the woman he was targeting had actually murdered the brother he was born with. He looks at Chloe, and for a terrifying second, she sees not an ally, but a vortex of rage and grief. The charity isn't a front for silencing Arthur's discovery. Caleb. Voice trembling with a new, terrifying hatred. The charity, it's how she finds them. She finds the families of the children she killed. She offers them money, hope, and then she makes sure they never, ever connect her to the monster who ran Chimera Therapeutics. He is no longer just a wronged brother seeking justice. He is a ghost from one of her mother's earliest graves, come back to demand a reckoning. The mission has just become profoundly, terrifyingly personal. Topic 8, The Betrayal. The air in the study is thick with the dust of old secrets and Caleb's ragged, grief-stricken breaths. He is a raw nerve, vibrating with a pain so profound it seems to alter the very atmosphere. He is clutching the faded photograph of his brother Gabriel, his knuckles white, his entire worldview shattered and rebuilt upon a foundation of unimaginable loss. Chloe is reeling, her own identity crumbling. The woman who raised her is a monster. The man beside her is a victim of that monster. Her voice is soft, laced with a horror that transcends fear. It's a moral revulsion. Chloe. We have to go to the police. We have everything. The files, the photos, your testimony. Caleb. His voice is a low, dangerous growl, tears of fury streaking through the dirt on his cheeks. The police know. This ends with her. Tonight. She looks at me. She acknowledges what she did to him. To all of them. He is spiraling into a darkness Chloe knows she can't pull him back from. Desperate, she puts a hand on his arm. Chloe. Caleb, please. This isn't the way. You'll become her. You'll become exactly what she is. Her touch, which once sparked attraction, now seems to jolt him like an electric shock. He flinches away from her, his eyes wild. And in that moment of extreme emotional turmoil, his guard slips completely. His phone, a cheap, burner model, chooses that exact second to vibrate on the carpet. The screen lights up with a notification. Wire transfer received. From E. Vance Holdings. Amount, 250,000.00. Memo, services rendered. The message glows in the dim light, undeniable, obscene. Chloe's eyes lock on the screen. The world stops. The air leaves her lungs in a single, silent gasp. The pieces she never even knew were floating slam together with brutal, logical clarity. His instant employment. His knowing exactly how to bypass the estate's security. His convenient story about being Arthur's brother. His constant pushing, his intensity, it wasn't passion. It was orchestration. Chloe. Her voice is a hollow, broken thing. Services rendered. Caleb's face goes through a violent transformation. The raw grief is shoved down, buried under a wave of panicked calculation. The mask of the grieving brother slams back into place, but it's cracked, transparent. Caleb. Chloe, it's not what you think. She must be setting me up. Chloe. Backing away from him, her eyes wide with betrayal. You told me you were a groundskeeper. You told me he was your brother. What else was a lie? Was any of it real? He reaches for her, a desperate, final play. Caleb. The money means nothing. What I feel for you, that's real. I was supposed to test you, to see if you were loyal to her, but I fell for you. We can take the money and run, we can expose her together. His words are a confession. He was never her ally. He was her mother's hired blade, sent to seduce her and betray her. The forbidden attraction, the shared moments, the whispered secrets in the rain, all of it was a performance. The man she was falling for doesn't exist. He is a phantom, a weapon her mother aimed directly at her heart. And the choice he offers her now between the money and her is the final, cruelest twist of the knife. He is still playing his part, even as it collapses around him. The betrayal is absolute, and it comes from the only person she thought was on her side. Topic 9, The Mastermind's Move. The study door swings open silently. Eleanor Vance stands there, backlit by the hall light, looking every bit the elegant, concerned matriarch. She isn't surprised. She isn't angry. She wears a small, chilling smile of absolute victory. In one hand, she holds a delicate porcelain teacup. In the other, her phone, screen still glowing. Eleanor. Her voice is calm, almost melodic. I see the transfer went through. I do hope the amount was sufficient for such a performative grief, Caleb. Both Chloe and Caleb freeze, caught in the act. Caleb's face is a mask of panicked confusion. Chloe's is pure, unadulterated horror. Eleanor steps fully into the room, her eyes sweeping over the stolen files on the floor with disdain. Really, Chloe? Rifling through my private safe, I expected more creativity from you. She takes a sip of her tea, her composure inhuman. Chloe. Her voice trembles with rage and tears. You knew everything. Eleanor. Of course I knew. I've always known. From the moment I hired him. She gestures to Caleb with her cup. A rather obvious plant, really. All that brooding intensity. So cliché. Caleb looks like he's been shot. The ground has vanished from beneath his feet. Caleb. You hired me to. Eleanor cuts him off, her tone turning icy, analytical. To test my daughter's loyalty. And to provide a convenient scapegoat. The grieving, unstable brother of my poor, suicidal accountant, the one caught fleeing the scene with stolen files and $250,000 in his account. Perfect. She reveals her true, cold nature. This was never about the charity being a front. It was a honeypot. And Caleb wasn't a double agent, he was a pawn who thought he was a player. Eleanor. To Caleb, her voice dripping with contempt. You were never in control. Your investigation, your little moments with my daughter. I orchestrated every step. I gave you the access. I let you find the safe. I needed her to trust you completely so your eventual betrayal would break her spirit utterly. She turns her gaze to Chloe, and for the first time, there is a flicker of genuine emotion, disappointment. Eleanor. Conted. And you, my dear, sentimental daughter. You failed. You chose a stranger, a fantasy, over your own blood. Over your legacy. You were always the weakest link. And now, you've given me everything I need to be rid of you both. She holds up her phone. On the screen is a live feed from a hidden camera in the study. It shows Caleb handing Chloe the files, them conspiring together. The angle makes it look like they are the architects of the entire scheme. Eleanor. Conted. The police will be here shortly. They will find you, Chloe, with these stolen files. And they will find him, with my money in his account and his fingerprints on the murder weapon I've already planted in his shed. She didn't just set a trap, she built an entire narrative, and she cast them both as the villains in her masterpiece. The game was never Caleb's or Chloe's to win. It was only ever hers to watch them lose. Topic 10, The Final Shot. The screech of sirens cuts through the night, their blue and red lights painting the rain-slicked streets of the city in frantic, garish strokes. But they are not headed for the Vance estate. Not yet. In a dingy, pay-by-the-hour motel room on the wrong side of town, Chloe Vance is a ghost of her former self. Huddled on the edge of a stiff bed, she wears stolen clothes that don't fit, her face pale and smudged with dirt and dried tears. The only light comes from a small, flickering television mounted on the wall, its volume low, casting shifting shadows across her hollow expression. The room smells of stale cigarette smoke and bleach. On the nightstand lies the only thing she managed to grab, the faded Polaroid of Caleb and his brother, Gabriel. A testament to the one real thing in a world of lies. The local news channel is airing a special report. A polished anchor speaks with grave seriousness. Anchor VO. Ongoing manhunt for Chloe Vance, daughter of esteemed philanthropist Eleanor Vance, who is wanted for questioning in the embezzlement of the Second Chance Foundation and the murder of family accountant Arthur Finch. The screen cuts to footage of the Vance estate. Eleanor Vance stands at a press conference, looking poised but heartbreakingly resolute. She is flanked by a strikingly handsome, powerful-looking man in an impeccably tailored suit. He is not the rugged groundskeeper. This man is polished, confident, his arm possessively around Eleanor's shoulders in a show of solidarity. It takes Chloe a full, disbelieving second to recognize him. It's Caleb. But every trace of the earthy, intense stranger is gone. Replaced by a cold, corporate sharpness. Eleanor on TV. Her voice is a masterclass of pain strength. This is a devastating time for our family. To be betrayed by one's own child, is a pain no mother should endure. But we are resilient. And with the support of my new partner, we will ensure the Second Chance Foundation's vital work continues. The camera zooms in. Caleb, no, whatever his name is, now leans into the microphone. His voice is different too. Smoother, colder, laced with a newfound authority that makes Chloe's blood run cold. Caleb on TV. The merger of Vance Holdings with my company, Chimera Tech, will create an unparalleled force for global innovation and philanthropy. We will root out the corruption that plagued the past and build a stronger, more transparent future. The shocking reveal isn't that he survived. It's that he won. He wasn't a pawn. He was the final piece on the board, and his partnership with Eleanor was the end game all along. The betrayal in the study was the last act of his performance, the final push to make Chloe the perfect patsy and cement his own rise to power. The news banner flashes below them, Vance heir presumed dead, mother announces merger with powerful tech tycoon. The scene holds on their faces. Eleanor allows herself a small, triumphant smile, directed not at the camera, but at the man beside her. He meets her gaze, and for a split second, the polished tycoon vanishes, and the chilling, ambitious predator is visible. He smiles back, a perfect, victorious mirror of her own. The camera cuts back to the news anchor, but Chloe doesn't hear the words. She is staring at the screen, her hand clamped over her mouth to stifle a sob of pure, utter terror. She is alone, haunted, and completely outplayed. The game was much bigger than she ever knew, and the two most dangerous people in her world are now a united front, having built their empire on the ruins of her life.